Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome. I welcome you all to this lecture in the course Sandhi in Paninian Grammar. In fact, we have reached the culmination of the course. We have dealt with the topic of Sandhi in quite a lot of detail. In the light of Panchasandhi Prakarana, which is part of the traditional curriculum of Paninian grammar, we studied various sutras. Through them we explained various types of sandhis. We also studied several examples. We classified the sandhi overall into three categories: Ekasthanika Ekadesha, Dvisthanika Ekadesha, and also Ekasthanika Dvyadesha. At Sandhi has got Ekasthanika Ekadesha and Dvisthanika Ekadesha. Hal Sandhi has got Ekasthanika Ekadesha as well as Ekasthanika Dvyadesha. Visarga Sandhi and Swadi Sandhi can be classified under Ekasthanika Ekadesha. Even though we see that the final output contains more than one sandhis, these sandhis take place one at a time and do not happen simultaneously. So in this particular final lecture, let us look at the summary of the course. We were dealing with some examples from Srimad Bhagavad Gita and studying some strategies to split the sandhi. Let us take some more examples. So here we have examples of a plus 0 plus ash being the output, from which we can get the input, namely a plus ya plus ash, and then we can get, applying the same procedure we saw in the previous lecture, a plus ru plus ash as the earlier input, and further backwards we can get a plus sa plus ash as the input. So previously in the examples like Dhritarashtra Uvacha and Sanjaya Uvacha and Arjuna Uvacha, we noted down that it is Arjunaha, Sanjayaha and Dhritarashtraha as a separate pada. One more clue for splitting that particular sandhi is that there are two vowels which are placed side by side and no sandhi is made of them. That is a big clue that this is an output in the form of a plus 0 plus a or a plus 0 plus ash. Now let us come back to this example, a plus 0 plus ash, and we find several examples. And when I started culling, there are innumerable examples within Bhagavad Gita. Within the first 10 verses of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I found these 5 examples. Atra Shura So, very first verse, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. So, this is nothing but Samavetaha and Yuyutsavaha. Similarly, Atra Shura Maheshvasa Bhimarjuna Sama Yudhi. There are three cases in this one string. Shura is Shuraha, Maheshvasa is Maheshvasaha, Bhimarjuna Samaha is Bhimarjuna Sama is Bhimarjuna Samaha. Then Vishishta Ye is Vishishtaha and Ye. Avasthita Yuddhe is Avasthitaha and Yuddhe. Shura Madarthe Tyakta Jivitaha. Anye cha Bhavas Shura Madarthe Tyakta Jivitaha. You have Shura Madarthe, that is Shuraha and Madarthe. And you can split the sandhi by following the same procedure. And there are many cases of this kind you will find in the Bhagavad Gita, where you have to be cautious and split the sandhi in this particular fashion. Let us take the next case, namely O plus Ash, which is the output of the input A plus U plus Ash. And here are the cases. Yuyudhano Viratascha is nothing but Yuyudhanaha Viratascha. Yuyudhanaha consists of, so Yuyudhana plus U and V. V is an Ash. So this U has substituted Ru. Ru substitutes S. So you have Yuyudhanas. And if you want to write it independently, it would be Yuyudhana. Similarly, Saubhadro Draupadeyascha. So this is the output, and the input would be Saubhadra plus U plus Draupadeyascha. The is an Ash. So Saubhadra plus U. Saubhadra plus U would be the output of Saubhadra plus Ru plus the. Then Ru would be the output of Sa. So you have Saubhadra Sa plus the. And then if you want to write Saubhadra Sa independently, it will be written as Saubhadraha. Similarly, Rishikesho Devadattam is Rishikeshaha and Devadattam. Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha is Kunti Putraha and Yudhishthiraha. Saghosho Dhartarashtranam is Saghoshaha Dhartarashtranam. Incidentally, Saghoshaha is also an example of the sandhi where the visarga after Sa is deleted when Hal follows. By the sutra, Etat tato sulopo akoranay samase hali. Similarly, Avishto Vishidan. But Avishto will be the output and the input would be Avishta plus U plus V Vishidan. And this U would be the output for the input Ru. So Avishta plus Ru. And this Ru would be the output of the input Sa. So you have Avishta Sa. And if you want to write it separately, independently, you will write Avishtah, which is 1/1 of Avishta. And you will find once again plenty of examples of this kind scattered everywhere, almost everywhere in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and also everywhere in Sanskrit. Then this particular type of sandhi, Shchatva sandhi, where Sh plus Ch is seen to be the output and the input is Sa plus Ch. So you have Pandavascha, and this Sh is the Shchitva sandhi, and so the input of this Sh is Sa. So Pandavascha, and this is the 1/3 of Pandava. Similarly, Viratascha is the output and the input is Sa plus Ch. So Viratascha. So this Viratas is 1/1 of Virata. Drishtaketush Chekitanaha. So Drishtaketush, this sh is the output and the input would be sa following the rules 8-4-40. Stoshchunaschuhu. So you will have Drishtaketus Chekitanaha. Drishtaketus, if you want to write independently, then you will write Drishtaketuhu and Chekitanaha. Similarly, Kashirajascha, Shaibhyascha and Karnascha. In all these cases, sh is the output and sa would be the input in the environment of ch following immediately. Now let us look at a very peculiar case which is also very difficult to read at one go. This is 5.8 and a line, a string consisting of no break. So if you have to read this particular line, it will have to be in the following fashion. Pashyai shrunvan sprashan jighran nashnan gachan swapai shvasan. I repeat, Pashyai shrunvan sprashan jighran nashnan gachan swapai shvasan. So if this is to be split, we need to know the proper rules of sandhi, what would be the outputs and what would be the inputs. So here we have marked 4, this ya ch, this ya j, na and once again ya ch. These are the outputs and we know how these outputs are arrived at and what is the input. So here we have written down the inputs. So the splitting of this particular string would be in this particular fashion. Pashyan plus Shranvan plus Sparshan plus Jighran plus Ashnan plus Gachan plus Swapan plus Shvasan. These are the constituents of this particular string. When they are woven together, the string becomes one indivisible unit. All these words, they are the present participles. Notably, dhatu plus shatru, the suffix stated in Paninian grammar. And so all these words are the nominative singulars of these shatranta pratipadikas. Pashyat, Shrunvat, Sprashat, Jigrat, Ashnat, Gachat, Swapat and Shvasat. These are the pratipadikas and the forms that you see, they are the 1/1 masculine forms. Naiva kinchit karomiti, yukto manyat tatvavit, pashain shrunvan sprashain jighran nashnan gachan swapan chvasan. And the meaning that you see recorded in various translations resembles something like this. Even while being a seer, a hearer or a toucher or a smeller or an eater or a goer or a sleeper or a breather. Now let us take each case and try to explain how the sandhi has actually happened, quoting the relevant sutras. So first let us take Pashain Chrunvan. We know that this chru as an output is derived from the input of this kind, Pashyan plus Shrunvan, because we know that there is a sutra which applies over here, and these are the sutras, various sutras. One of them applies and converts this into Pashyan Chrunvan. So if we start from the bottom, but here we see Pashyan Chrunvan, and we can go back like that, or we can come from the top to bottom. First let us come from top to bottom. So we have Pashyan plus Shrunvan as the input. Now 8331 she took allows us to add this ta over here. And now we have pashyanta shrinvan. Then this ta, when comes into contact with this sh, is subjected to stoshchanaschuhu, and this ta will be substituted by ch. So we have pashyancha shrinvan. Now because of this ch, this na will be substituted by ya, so we have pashyancha shrinvan. Now because of this ch being also described as jhai, so this sh will be substituted by ch. So we have ya, ch and ch over here. Optionally now this ch gets deleted. So you have pashyai shrinvan. So you get this particular derivation. In some textbooks there will be no ch, there will be just sh. That is also according to the grammatical rules, mainly because this ta is stated to be optional. So if this ta is not added here, you will have only na followed by sh, in which case stoshchanaschuhu will apply, and this na will be substituted by ya, and you will have pashyai shrinvan. So we have already seen that there are 4 such examples that are possible in a given scenario of this kind. If we go back from the bottom and come to the top, this will be the reverse order, and then we shall be able to reach this particular stage Pashyan Shrinvan, and we will be able to identify this as the input. Pashyan and Shrinvan is the output, Pashyan plus Shrinvan is the input. Then the next one is Sprashai Jigran. This is the output, Sprashai Jigran. This is quite simple because we have Sprashan and Jigran as the input, and we apply 8440, which substitutes this na by ya, and so you have Sprashai Jigran. So because ja follows, so stoshchanaschuhu applies, and that therefore we have ya, and this ya can go back to na, which is the input. And so we have Sprashan plus Jigran as 2 independent words, making Sprashai Jigran as the sandhi. The next output is Jigran Nashnan. So once again we know that 2 nakaras, they could be the output in the case where 8332 Gamo Raspadachi Ngamun Nityam applies. Now Ngamo Raspadachi Ngamun Nityam requires that this na should be at the end of the pada, which it is. It should be preceded by a short a, which it is. So there is rasva followed by ngam followed by an ach over here. Now this ach would get the augment ngamut, so it will be added before. Now because this is na, the closest amongst the ngamut augments is na itself. So we add na over here before, and then we get the output nashnan, and when we join them together we get Jigran Nashnan. This is how we can explain this output Jigran Nashnan as coming from Jigran plus Ashnan. These would be the 2 constituents. And lastly, from the line of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we have this particular output, Swapai Chvasan, and we know that this would be the input, Swapan plus Shvasan. By the application of rules, from Swapan plus Shvasan we will go and reach this particular stage, which is the output. If we come back from this output, we can also reach the stage of this input. So first we have Swapan plus Shvasan. Now she took 8331 applies and adds ta over here. So we have Swapan ta Shvasan. Then because of sh, this ta is substituted by ch by the application of 8440 stoshchanaschuhu. Then because of this ch, this na would be substituted by y, swapainch and shvasan. Because of 8440 once again, stoshchonaschuhu. Now because this ch can be described as jhai, it is jhai. Therefore now the sutra 8463 shashchoti will apply over here, and chatvam amiti vacham, and so we have sh being substituted by ch. So this is jhai at the end of the pada, followed by sh, followed by at. V is an at, and so sh is substituted by ch. So we have swapain ch and chvasan. Then 8465 applies jharodhari savarne and optionally drops this ch. So we have swapain chvasan. This is optional form. You can also have swapain ch chvasan, or you can also have this ch being optionally done. So swapain ch shvasan, this is possible, or just swapain shvasan, this is also possible. 4 forms are possible, as we have seen before. Similarly, you can have several examples and several such sandhis as part of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I hope the treatment of sandhi sutras and the sandhis that we have done in this course will help you decipher the sandhi and the constituents of the text easily. There is something to remember as a parting note. So we have examples like Sukhinaha Kshatriyah Partha, 2nd chapter, and this is 32nd verse. So in cases like this, where you have visarga plus ksha, visarga is to be written and pronounced, and no modification or no sandhi is described by Paninian grammar. Because remember, ksha is made up of ka and sh. And so there is this sutra Sharpare Visarjaniya. Ka is part of khar, sh is part of shar. So there is Sharpara khar and Sharpare khari. Visarjaniyasya Visarjaniya eva natu anyat. So this is in accordance with 8335 Sharpare Visarjaniyaha. So visarga is not to be substituted by anything else, and you have several examples in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and all over Sanskrit literature. Always remember this particular fact: when a visarga is followed by ksha, pronounce the visarga or write the visarga as visarga and never as anything else. Now here are 3 examples in which the result of the sandhi analysis and the complexities involved get more accentuated and highlighted. In these 3 examples, there are some strings provided, very famous strings, and it is shown how the multiple combinations that are possible due to the various kinds of sandhi rules, they allow the reader to have multiple kinds of interpretations. So multiple kinds of contents can be extracted from one and the same string. This is very important and absolutely critical based on the knowledge of sandhi. So here is this string, nasato vidyate bhavo nabhavo vidyate sataha. This is 216 from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I repeat, nasato vidyate bhavo nabhavo vidyate sataha. Now this string can be split into its constituents, and you will have nasato as first, and obviously there is the sandhi. So this O is the output and the input is A plus U, nasata plus U. U is the output of Ru, because this V is part of Hush, and so this Ru is the output of Sa, Sasajusho Ruhu. So we know that this is nasatah if written separately. Vidyate bhavo. Bhavo is again like nasato. Na bhavo, this vo also is like nasato, and so on. So now we can split this particular string into two: nasato, vidyate, bhavo, na bhavo, vidyate, and sataha. But the same string can also be split into another set of constituents, namely nasato vidyate abhavo, nabhavo vidyate asataha. So as far as the words are concerned, there is this string in which vidyate is followed by the word bhavaha, and here vidyate is followed by the word abhavaha, which is extremely opposite. Similarly, here vidyate is followed by sataha, and here vidyate is followed by asataha. How is this possible? This is possible because the output of this a plus a is going to be a, like this here. Similarly, a plus a and the output is going to be only a. So from this a you can derive two inputs: vidyate bhavo, no sandhi, or sandhi, vidyate plus a bhavo. Both of them are possible from this particular output. This is in fact, the second one is in fact the way this verse is split by one tradition of the Vedanta philosophy. This is a very famous sutra from the Mimamsa Sutras, Athato Dharma Jidnyasa, and the popular and common and main split is Athato Dharma Jidnyasa. But some commentators also split it as Athato Adharma Jidnyasa. Just as you have a desire to know dharma, you should also have a desire to know what is adharma, so as to avoid it. That is complementary to the knowledge of dharma. Now this O can be the output, and the inputs could be these two, to and dharma, no sandhi at all, or to plus adharma. So O plus A is going to be O. This O is coming at the end of the pada, and this A is coming at the beginning of the second pada. So the output would be O. So this can be the explanation of Athato Dharma Jidnyasa based on the sandhi splitting. And we have an example within grammar, namely the Sutra Najjalau, and how the later Paninian grammatical tradition splits this na, especially a, into two constituents. Generally, we would assume that Najjalau, this a, can be split into a plus a, na plus ajjalau. But we also can split it as na plus ajjalau, and this a can be split as a plus a. So we can derive na plus a plus ajjalau. So this a is additional element that we get out of this particular splitting, and thereby negating the homogeneity of long vowel a and consonants is possible. This we have discussed earlier. This is just a recap of what we have discussed earlier. So these are the three examples which show the complexity involved in sandhi splitting and multiple explanations or interpretations which are possible based on this particular complexity. And that is one of the reasons why there is a lot of overgeneration which needs to be reduced with the help of the dictionaries and with the help of the sub-word matching. Now to finish this course, let us have the cognitive explanation of sandhi. And these are the verses which are Svopadnya, which are created in the commentary written on the Sanskrit text Shabda Sutra by yours truly. They are following: Ekam Vakyam Akhandam Sat Ekarthasya Prabodhakam Padais Tingasubhantaischa Samarthais Sandhi Samyutam sasandhi buddhi samstham tat arthakasha prahetukam shabdakasha pratishtancha vakyam vyaktam dhvanigrahaihi. And this is the meaning of the first verse. One indivisible sentence together with the words in the form of one thing and many ending in sups, which are semantically related and also processed with sandhi, denotes one meaning. And the second verse means that sentence together with the sandhi effects located in the intellect and established in the word space, which is the cause of the semantic space, is expressed by the emissions of sounds. And the second set of verses are this, Vyaktair dhvanigrahai shrotru buddhau vyaktir yada yatha shabdartha kashayostulya sasandhi ekavakyaja tada tatha prabodhaschet ekarthasya samahitihi sasandhi prochyate tatra samvadas samajayat. The meaning of the third verse is this: by the expressed emission of the sounds, when and which expression takes place in the intellect of the listener, which is together with the sandhi and which is similar in both the word and semantic space, and which is generated out of one sentence, and the meaning continues in the next verse, then if there is a cognition of one meaning together with the sandhi in meaning, there is fulfillment, and then it is said that the dialogue has indeed taken place. This is the importance of sandhi. Sandhi is not just the phonetic description of the sounds being uttered one after the other, but this is in fact programmed, and this is part of the shabdakasha as well as arthakasha. Just as we have sandhi of sounds, we also have sandhi of arthas and also sandhi of buddhi or cognition. So we have buddhi sandhi, we have artha sandhi, and the one that we studied, we have also shabda sandhi or varna sandhi. Now the final benediction. We have studied sandhi and its various facets so far. So I close this particular series of lectures by this final benediction. I read the verse for you. Sa sandhish shantaye bhuyat samvadaya cha svatmanah shabdarthayos sada nityam sarva buddhyaikya karakah. I repeat. Sa sandhish shantaye bhuyat samvadaya cha svatmanah shabdarthayos sada nityam sarva buddhyaikya karakah. This verse is composed by yours truly, and the meaning of this verse is: let the sandhi of the word and meaning, which is the maker of one intellect out of all, always and everywhere, be for peace and dialogue with or of one's own self. I repeat, let the sandhi of the word and meaning, which is the maker of one intellect out of all, always and everywhere, be for peace and dialogue with or of one's own self. And I dedicate these verses to all of you. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Finally, as we close this lecture and the course, I would like to acknowledge the help I received from various people in making this course a success. First of all, I would like to thank my TA, Dr. Iravati Kulkarni, for her timely help in the editing, overall running of this particular course. I would like to specially thank the video team of NPTEL, Mr. Amin Sheikh, Tushar Deshpande, Vijay Kedare, Devendra Parab and Ravi Paswan. And also the web team of NPTEL, Bharati Madam and also Sandeep. Thanks are also due to the NPTEL team at IIT Madras. Finally, I would like to thank IIT Bombay for giving me this wonderful opportunity, and thank you all.